Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the M1 iPad Air 5, the iPad Air 5 that came out, last year, and see how the specific device holds up in the later part of 2023. Now, the thing I will tell you about this particular iPad is that it's completely worth buying. It's a brand new iPad Apple's still selling. I will tell you the successor might be right around the corner, but it's still a completely good iPad, and I think Apple knocked it out of the park with this specific device for sure. Now, starting off with the outside, this iPad comes out in one particular size. It's that 10.9-inch liquid retina display. Looks very good. I think it is kind of better than the iPad 10th generation, but honestly, it's still a lot of overlap. I think the iPad Air 5 is a very good panel, and I think it's definitely worth buying for sure from that specific perspective. The fact that it's $600 and, you can find it in the used market cheaper, it's a good iPad from that specific perspective. There's also a couple of different colors you can kind of choose from as well, more than the iPad 10, which honestly that is kind of interesting as well. I think it's the iPad with the most amount of colors in the brand new market right now, besides the iPad mini 6. Now you're getting a USB Type-C port at the bottom, Apple Pencil 2 support, which is very important because the newer iPads, are supported with Apple Pencil, USB-C with the 10th generation, and having Apple Pencil 2 support is super important, and you are getting that on this particular iPad, which is super cool. On the backside, you're getting that standard aluminum build, which still looks great, single camera setup, the whole 9 yards. Overall, this iPad still holds up very, very well from that specific perspective. Now, a big thing going on for this particular iPad is that Apple did actually give us the M1 chipset inside of it. Now, this is a very, very important thing because having that M1 chipset means that this iPad is going to, basically have that desktop chipset inside for a long period of time, forever. So because iPadOS 17 just came out, we ended up getting a lot of features basically overlapping from the newer iPads on this one as well. So that's a very, very cool thing. Having those types of newer iPad features is very cool, and I love having that type of capability. So within iPadOS 17, luckily for us, we did actually end up getting a lot of features from that specific perspective. Now, I will tell you iPadOS 17 probably could have been a little bit better in some ways, but I do think overall, this is a very good iPad with a very good future ahead of it. Now, we still have not gotten the iPad Air 6 yet, so we're still kind of missing out a little bit from that perspective. So I do think in a way there needs to be a little bit of, kind of a push for Apple to kind of make these newer iPads. But so far, it's been pretty good. I do think that, the iPad Air 5 is completely worth buying. But the thing that I keep thinking about with the iPad Air 5 is how it relates to the iPad 10th generation. And the iPad 10th generation is cheaper than the iPad Air 5. They look almost the same. But I still think if you're somebody who uses an Apple Pencil a lot and you want to, you're thinking about the iPad 10 or the iPad Air 5, I will tell you there's an iPad that you don't even have to pick between these. You get the iPad Air 4. The iPad Air 4 is a very good iPad. It has so much power and so much capability inside, and that is a really good iPad I would recommend people to buy as well. And the reason why I kind of go down that direction and recommend that one is because it's an iPad that supports Apple Pencil 2. It's a very powerful iPad, has such a future ahead of it as well. And although it may not be as good as the iPad Air 5, I think it is better than the iPad 10. So that's kind of how I look at this particular iPad. So in my opinion, I look at the iPad, 10th generation, I look at the iPad Air 5 as very similar. I like the iPad Air 5. I think it's completely worth buying for sure. But I do think, and I would tell you, I would, recommend buying the iPad Air 5 over most other iPads. But if you're thinking about a cheaper one, go for the iPad Air 4. Although that one doesn't have the M chipset, it's still a very, very good iPad for sure. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.